Today we're going to be talking about what an appraisal waiver is, or what is waiving your appraisal. So it's always important to know what this is before you're writing a contract. And the reason is, what can happen is you'll be writing your contract, you're so excited to buy the house, you're telling the realtor, you'll do anything, I will do anything for this house. They go, okay, well, do you want to waive the appraisal? And you go, sure, yeah, whatever I have to do. Whoa, 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 guys. We need to know what that means, because what I'm seeing a lot of, I've get so many calls from YouTube, comments, and everyone's like, I waived my appraisal and I don't know what to do now. And I'm like, yeah, like 15th person this month. So let's talk about what that means. Now, first of all, you can have a waived appraisal with a conventional mortgage if the property you are buying qualifies for an appraisal waiver, okay? Now, I'm stressing that because what I'll hear sometimes from a real estate agent is, well, my lender waives appraisals. Not really the way it works, guys. And there's nothing in the industry where one lender could just waive appraisals, okay? So here's what happens. So with a conventional loan, let's say you're putting down 20%, because we never see this at 3 or 5 or even 10% down. So if you're putting down 20%, I type in the address and I run it through the system. The system could come back and say, you qualify for an appraisal waiver. Okay, it is based on a variety of factors. I have not seen that many in the last few years. The reason is the computer's looking at comparable sales and it's trying to gauge risk. Okay, and if it can't determine what the value of the house should be, or that the purchase price you're doing is reasonable, you do not get a waiver. Well, across the country, we are in a market where values continue to go up month by month by month by month to a large extent. Of course, there are some exceptions to this, but overall, the market is still very hot and moving upwards. Okay, so the computer, in most cases, is not coming back with a waiver. Okay, so could you still waive your appraisal? Yes, but you need to understand what it means, okay? So I'm just gonna do conventional as an example for all of this, because what I hear a lot of is, well, with conventional you can waive the appraisal, but with VA you can't. So we're just gonna focus on conventional today. Now, as I stated, once in a while, the computer will say that you can waive your appraisal. That's a legitimate appraisal waiver, meaning that it is not part of the loan where we have to get the appraisal. If we do not get that waiver, we have to have an appraisal in order to close your loan. Now, here's what could happen. Let's say you're buying a house at $500,000 and it appraises at $480,000 and you waived that appraisal. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to come in with your regular percentage of down payment. So let's say you were doing 5% down. So you're gonna have to come in with 5% of $480,000 plus the difference between $480,000 and $500,000. Okay? When you are waiving your appraisal, you are saying to the seller, it does not matter what this house is actually worth, I will pay this, okay? It's incredibly hard to go back to a seller and negotiate lowering the price when you've already said the price doesn't matter. Very important to note. Now, sometimes people have no idea that when they're waiving the appraisal that it means they're saying they will pay the difference. A super smart listing agent is going to verify that you have the money to bridge that difference if there is one. Okay, very important to note. Now, there's other ways real estate agents are doing this, where what they'll do is they won't waive the appraisal, but they say you agree to pay XYZ over appraised value. That is safer than waiving that appraisal. And there's a variety of factors why. And I really want to state this. If you are going to waive your appraisal, or if you're going to agree to pay XYZ over the appraised amount, you want to make sure your real estate agent is pulling comparable sales to justify whatever price you're offering. So you know, if the house is listed, let's say at 450, and they're saying you need to write at 500, and you don't have $50,000 in case it comes in at 450, you need to say, hey, are there comparable sales to support this price? Because you don't want to be in a position where you're liquidating your retirement, you're getting gifts from family members, you're begging, borrowing, and stealing in order to bridge a difference that you had no preparation for. None, okay? So that's the first thing. Try not to sneeze. The other thing to keep in mind is that if I, the lender, say I need an appraisal, I'm not just looking for value. I'm looking for if the property is financeable. So if we get the appraisal back and there's roof issues, foundation issues, you know, there's a lot of issues that can make it so a house is unfinanceable, well, you've got a problem unless you have other contingencies still in place, okay? You need to talk to your real estate agent about all of the contingencies, right? What protection you have, and at what point you would lose your earnest money deposit. So in the majority of states around the United States, when you're going to buy a house, you're going to put down an earnest money deposit. It's a sign of good faith. If you do not meet the terms of the contract, the seller can keep that. Now, there's one exception to this, which is North Carolina, where they have a due diligence fee, which is non-refundable. Okay? No matter what, if you don't buy the house, the seller's keeping that money. The house could be falling down, but if you did that due diligence and you don't move forward, the seller can keep the money. Okay? So important to note. So it's really, really critical that you guys are having these conversations with your real estate agent. Now, one more thing to keep about this. So what I'll see often in the jumbo world, so let's say you're buying $1 million house and it appraises, let's go higher because California, the loan limits are crazy now. Let's say you're buying a $1.5 million house and the house appraises at 1.4, you're saying to the seller, hey, I'm gonna do $100,000 above the appraised price, right? Because you waived that appraisal. And then with me, you still have to have your down payment and reserves. Okay, now I've actually seen it with a jumbo borrower before where they waived the appraisal without talking to us. And we're like, if this house appraises $12 under, you do not qualify because you do not have the reserves. Okay, and this is specific to jumbo. With jumbo loans, they always want to see that after closing, you're going to have a certain amount of monthly payments left over in your bank accounts. So if all of a sudden $100,000 disappears because of this appraisal waiver, you may not qualify. So whenever you guys are thinking of waiving an appraisal, it is critical to talk to your lender. It is critical to understand how much you might be bridging, and it is critical to understand if you back out how much that will cost you. Because people will say, well, I didn't fully understand it. Guys, the real estate agent, you know, in theory, are they supposed to make it so you fully understand everything? Yeah, but they could try to explain it and you could be so excited you could miss it. Also, it's a pretty tough concept. Or they may not explain it at all and just assume you get it. Like appraisal waiver, that means you're waiving the appraisal, which means you're taking on all this risk. I don't think it's an automatic assumption. I think it's something that needs to be explained, which is why I'm doing this video. But the key takeaways from this are, if you're waiving your appraisal, you better have money to bridge in case the appraisal comes in low. 2, you're giving away your right to negotiate if the appraisal comes in low because the appraisal came in low. And 3, you need to talk to your lender before you do it, okay? To make sure you understand the numbers, because a lot of lenders will say, whoa, 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 whoa. Right? Because generally, if you're waiving the appraisal, you're probably waiving inspections. You might be waiving loan. And if we're doing a loan for you, that is a lot of risk you're taking. So you need to understand how much money you could lose. Okay? I can't stress this enough. On Thursday, we're going to be talking about what to do if your appraisal came in low and you didn't do an appraisal waiver. So we're going to talk about some of the different ways it can pan out if the appraisal comes in low. So as always, thank you for watching. I am licensed in 48 states if you need a mortgage, and I and my team are here to help you. Thanks for watching, guys.